Hey, folks, I want to know what keeps you awake at night? What causes you to just stare up at the ceiling and not be able to fall asleep? What are you worrying about? What anxiety do you have, especially when it comes to the cryptocurrency markets, your cryptocurrency portfolio, and investing in general? Folks, we talked about this a little bit on Monday, and I asked a question. What is the number one challenge that you are facing that's standing between you and financial freedom, financial independence through your cryptocurrency investing journey? And the reason that I'm asking, folks, is because a very wise man recently told me that if I focus on what is keeping you awake at night, what is really bothering you, that is where true servant leadership begins. It's not worrying about what I want or what I need or what my family needs. It's worrying about what you, my loyal followers, my community, the people that support this channel are going through in life. What problems do you need solved? And folks, I'm not here to say that I can solve everybody's problems by any means, but I got to thinking about it. If I don't even know what those problems are, how in the world could I have any chance at helping you guys through them? And I also realized the other day on Monday, as people started bringing stuff up in the chat as to what their number one challenge was, that there was a lot of reoccurring themes that most of us, there's only a few things involved in cryptocurrency investing, like 5, 10, 15 things. It's not like there's 1,000 different things that hold us back. And don't get me wrong, like in life in general, there can be 1,000 things. You know, one person might have health issues. One person might have, a gambling addiction. Another person could have a drug addiction. Somebody else could be an alcoholic. I mean, somebody else could be fighting with their spouse. Somebody else could be losing their job. There's 1,000 different things in life that could keep you from being successful in your quest to create financial independence in your cryptocurrency investing journey. But when it actually comes to the few things that you need to do in cryptocurrency to have massive success, there's really only a handful of things, but that I still would love to hear from you. So what I told everybody on Monday was, for those of you that are brave enough to, type it into the chat, or feel free, if you don't want to, publicly announce what your biggest challenge is, DM me. You can hit me up on Twitter. You can hit me up on Telegram, Discord. DM me some of the most challenging things that you're going through, and let us see if we can, bring them up here on our Monday live streams, and let's see if we can work through them and help everybody together. I would just about guarantee that anything that you're struggling with, everybody in the group is probably struggling with it to a certain degree, or they've maybe overcome that thing, and collectively, oh my goodness, this little guy here, Little Rambo decided that it was going to be a good time to just climb up my leg. Yeah. Hey, we got to quit the climbing up my leg, pal. Yeah, this is quite a distraction, but you're such a cute little feller that it's hard to be too mad at you. This is Rambo. Yeah, this is Rambo, and he likes to climb up legs. Yeah. So with that, though, folks, seriously, if you're having a challenge in your cryptocurrency journey, there's people here that are having the same challenge. And so by being brave enough to admit it and get it out in the open, even if it's just in a DM to me, you're helping everybody. But there's also some people that maybe have overcome that challenge. Maybe they've got a different challenge of their own, but maybe they've overcome that challenge, and they can be helpful. And we can all collectively, as a group of Infinite Crypto Cruisers, work to help each other. That's what I really see this community as, is a group of people that are all moving not in the right direction, but in the same direction. If financial freedom and having the ability to call the shots in your life is something that's important to you, then we want you here and we want you to be a part of this channel. And if that's something that's not super important to you yet, don't worry, stick around and it will become important to you, because I found that most people that don't have a dream for financial freedom, it's mostly because they just don't believe it's possible in their life. They've been beaten down by the world for so long that their dreams have shriveled up into tiny little balls. I promise you, if you stick around this YouTube channel for a while, we will expand your mind again and you will start to dream like you did when you were a teenager. That's what we want. We want to have youthful teenager exuberance when it comes to our dreams. There is no dream that is too big. There's no dream that is too lofty. There is nothing that we cannot accomplish if we put our minds to it and we focus on it and we work together as a team. So today we are going to go over some microcap gems. We're going to look at the market. So far, the market has responded pretty well to the different things that are happening today. And I don't want to say anybody's name, because I've noticed that if I say anything too political, that I end up getting shadow banned, and that the videos have like very, very few views. It's crazy, some of the censorship that still is going on in this country on some of the different platforms. But we all know, unless you've been living under a rock, that today is kind of an interesting day, and I've been waiting to see how it was going to affect the financial markets. And so far, knock on wood, it has not been too shabby at all. So, with that, folks, does anybody here have anything that they would like to, put out to the group that they're really having a challenge with? If not, no worries. We will, go with DMs. Eric Bernstein brought up a great question on Monday. I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but I'm going to be going over his comment. There was another person in the chat. I don't see him here yet today, but I see another, there was another person in the chat that went to the comment section of that video and typed in 4 or 5 different things. And he had some really good ideas. So that's the other thing you could do. You can just go to the comment section of Monday's video or today's video after it's over and type in some of the challenges, some of the things that you would like to see me cover on this channel. But with that, let's run over here. Oops, I didn't add that to stage. And so before we get too deep into everything, I wanted to show you guys this. I cannot stress this enough. A, this is not financial advice. B, if you haven't had your Dutch Bros yet this morning, I highly recommend turn off your computer and go to Dutch Bros, get yourself a cup of coffee. No, they are not sponsoring the channel, but I just love them. And then come back and watch this video after you're caffeinated. That's my medicine. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any drugs. Caffeine is the only drug that I'm addicted to, I think. Anyways, guys, I want to pull this back up. This is not a microcap gem by any means, but this is a token that I've fallen in love with over the years, that I am super excited about its future. And I do have to say, like I mentioned yesterday, this thing has had the heck beaten out of it. And it's down right now to under 20 cents, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's not great for my leverage trade, which I'll pull up here in a minute too. But this thing is going to rocket ship back up at some point in time. We don't know when. But if you go out here to its max chart, you can see this thing was a $3 token during the peak of the last bull run. And even in the middle of this last couple of years, you can see here, it peaked up to over $1.25 on February 3rd of 2023. And then here it peaked up again to over $1. It was sitting at $1.14. This was just almost exactly a year ago, March 15th of 2024. And then just as recently here as a couple of months ago, in December, this thing was back up to around 60 cents. So it's got a lot of room to run. But the other thing is and I've shown this before on the Trader Tuesdays, but I know not everybody watches that Trader Tuesday. But if we go all the way back to April of 2021, it was 33 cents. In order to get down to here at 20 cents, we're all the way back to March 4th, 2021. So basically just almost, well, I guess it's not exactly 4 years because now we're in April, but about almost 4 years ago to find this token at lower than a 20 cents. So I have been talking about this token for a little bit and believe that it's bottomed out. So this is a token that I would highly consider dollar cost averaging into. If this is a token that you already own some of and you want to, maybe lower your cost basis, once again, not financial advice, but I really like where this token is sitting. And then for trading purposes, I really do believe that this thing is a really, I would take a close look at this if I was you guys and thinking about putting in a trade. You can see here, I've got a little $100 trade in with 10x leverage. My entry price was a little over 20 cents. I don't know if you guys, because I'm looking at this like on my other computer screen and it's pretty small. I don't know if you guys can ever see what I'm trying to highlight here, but it was at my entry price was at 20.2048. So just under 20 and a half cents basically. And, right now it's down at 1981 and I'm down a little bit of money here. You can see I'm down $33 on my 100, but I'm not too worried about it. I've got a order in here at 1875. So if this thing dips down, another penny down into the 18s, I'll scoop up another batch of it so that I'm not getting liquidated. But this is just, in my opinion, a super good possibility. You look at it yourself. You look at whether you want to do 3x or 5x or 10x. I never really recommend higher than 10x, and even 10x can keep you on the seat of your pants as far as, the ups and downs and worrying about, like this morning, I was worried if for some reason things went poorly and the market really crashed, whether or not this thing was going to all of a sudden, dump down to 15 cents and I was going to have trouble keeping this trade in play. But anyways, my H-bar trade, I showed it yesterday. I've got a little bit more in it, $255. It's up $66. But the funny thing is, folks, when I was showing you this trade yesterday, it was up, pretty good money, right about where it's at right now. And then you guys can see here, last night, this thing dropped all the way down into here, and it went from $60, $70, $80 in the green to $60, $70, $80, $100 in the red. So you got to be able to handle some swings. The main thing is it was nowhere near this 15 cent range that it needed to get down to where I was going to get liquidated. And so those are a couple of trades that I have in play. And I just really wanted, before we got into, MicroCap GEMS, this is nothing. I mean, this is a $345 million token right now. So it's not a MicroCap gem, but this token was also multiple billions during the last bull run. So at 345 million, it feels like a pretty decent token for a, it's ranked. That's not right. It can't be 185th on the coin market cap. I think that's got to be a mistake. Let me do the Polygon X-Matic. They're still the same price, but yeah, this is showing here at 66th. But 66th is still quite a ways down the market cap when you're talking about this is probably a top 10, top 15 token when it really has its run up. So it's got a lot of room to run, in my opinion. Let's get back up here into the comments. Greg says, after being in the markets for 4 to 5 years, I can only offer some advice that helped me. Markets are designed to make you emotional. Your bags will go down. Just take a step back, breathe, and don't panic. And that is such incredible advice. And if there's one thing that I've found over the last 8, 9, 10 years that separates the winners from the losers in the cryptocurrency investing market, it is the ability to stay even keeled, even when everything is on fire around you. Your cryptocurrency, you're not a cryptocurrency investor, in my opinion, until you've had your portfolio dusted off and 70, 80, 90% underwater. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not rooting for that to happen to you guys, but I have not met anybody in 10 years that hasn't bought a token that they were really excited about, that hasn't watched it drop down by 75 to 95% ever. I bet you there's not one person watching today. If you have been involved in crypto and you have purchased a token and you've never had a token go down 75% after you bought it, please put a 1 in the chat. And I would almost guarantee you there's not going to be any ones. And if there is a 1 in the chat, it's probably somebody that's really new to crypto. Don't get me wrong. You can get lucky and come into crypto at the right time and really see big upswings and never really have to go through that emotional, that emotional wreckage of looking at your portfolio, trying to explain to your spouse why your $10,000 is worth $2,700. But for the most part, that happens to everybody. And even for you, if you can put a 1 into the chat right now, the best advice I can give you is wait for it. Like, it will happen. You will almost inevitably, you cannot avoid some 75 to 95% downswings in your cryptocurrency portfolio, unless the only thing that you buy is Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum. But most of the altcoins, especially if you're watching this MicroCap Gem video, these MicroCap Gems have, like huge heart attack charts. But the point is, and what Greg is saying, and I agree with it, is that if a project is fundamentally sound, if it's got good teammates, it's got a good team, good founders, it's solving a problem, it's got real world utility, and it's growing and getting worked on, then wouldn't sweat the fact that it's down 75, 85, 95%, because it can come back in a heartbeat. I tell the story all the time about sitting in a car with my dad in November of 2020, almost in tears, man, not sure what I was going to do. I quit my job in 2019. I went full-time crypto. This is back before I didn't even have the YouTube channel. I went full-time crypto way before I should have. And, now 2020 comes along. It's been over a year since I've left my job. My money is starting to run out. The money that I put into the cryptocurrency markets, which was probably around $100,000 altogether, was worth at this point 20 grand, because I had started spending it. Like, I literally got to the point where I had no money in the bank. And so every time a bill was due, I went into my portfolio and would cash out whatever was down the least, or whatever I thought was maybe the least likely to come back. And I spent months selling off crypto that was down 50, 60, 75% to stay afloat and to stay, alive. And, long story short, November of 2020 rolls around, and I'm like $20,000 away from broke. And I literally I went and visited my dad. I'm having this conversation with him, like literally with tears welled up in my eyes. Like, Dad, if something doesn't flip around, if crypto doesn't take off, like, I've been in this thing 18, 19, 2020, like 3 years plus now. And all I've done is lost money. My wife, God bless her, was very, very patient, but I know that she was tired of me telling her, hey, babe, it's just a matter of time. Hey, babe, it's just a matter of time. Hey, babe, it's inevitable. Blockchain technology isn't going anywhere. It's just a matter of time. And then boom, after that conversation with my dad, we were at his house for like about a week to 10 days we're going to end up celebrating Thanksgiving and stuff. It was probably around like the 15th of November. By the 25th of November and Thanksgiving, the market had made a drastic improvement. And between November of 2020 and May of 2021, that $20,000 turned into over $300,000. So I was sitting on a $20,000 portfolio in November of 2020. And by May of 2021, it was $360,000, I believe. And then by the peak of the market with some private sales and different things that I invested in, it was worth well over $1 million, closing in on $2 million at its peak. So I went from $20,000 in November of 2021 to well over $1 million, closing in on $2 million by November of 2022, because the market, or excuse me, 20,000 in November of 2020, almost 2 million by November of 2021, because I believe the market peaked in November, like a November 12th or something like that. November 11th of 2021 was Bitcoin's peak at 68,000 previously. So literally $20,000 turned into almost $2 million in a year. But in 18, everything I invested just kept going down. In 19, everything that I bought just kept going down. In 20, everything that I bought just kept going down. The only thing that saved me was my absolute fanatical, delusional belief that blockchain technology was here to stay and that it was going to come back at some point in time. And I could not be shaken out of the markets. I did not care how low it went, how bad it got. I was not going to quit finding every extra penny that I could to invest in cryptocurrency. And so it's such a great point there, Greg. Thank you for putting that in the chat, because I think sometimes when you guys hear it from me, it's not as powerful as when you hear it from, another community member that's gone through all of this same stuff yourself. Dave P, same thing. I 100% agree. Greg, sometimes you just have to take a small crypto break. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking a deep breath and just getting away from the market for a week or two and just, decompressing and forgetting about it, and then coming back to it. Greg says, I think of the 70 to 80 coins I have, I think the only one that I haven't seen go below my original buy is Ondo, but I got in it at 22 cents. Doesn't mean that it can't go below that, but here's hoping that it doesn't. So Greg, has bought 70 or 80 different tokens, and exactly one of them has not been in the red. So it's just a part of life, man. A part of life. Hey, Hexterra, thank you for being here, man. Great to see you. I know that the Hex ecosystem has been going through a rough ride, but man, we here at Infinite Crypto love Pulsechain. We love Hex. There's definitely some really exciting tokens in that ecosystem that are getting beat up right now that I think are great buys, some things that are going to come rebounding back. It's like, reminds me when Solana got crushed off to $7 back, in 2022 with the FTX crash, and Voyager and Celsius, all of those things going down. There was blood in the streets, and a lot of people didn't think that Solana was going to make it back. It had, network outages and congestion and blah, blah, blah. I feel like that is kind of what Pulsechain and Hex is going through right now. You guys aren't going out of business, and as long as you don't go out of business, it's going to rebound. And because right now it's gotten beaten up so badly, folks, I would highly recommend that you take a close look at Hex and the Pulsechain, ecosystem, and find the tokens that stand out to you. Find the teams that you believe in. But I do believe that there's massive, massive potential right now in that ecosystem with all of the challenges that you've gone into. Greg, that's a great question. How many tokens did I have that 20K spread into? Well, probably by that time, I'm going to guess I probably had somewhere in between 50 and 100 tokens, because I never, to give you guys a little bit of a backdrop, I don't know if any of you have heard of Tika Twari. Tika Twari, though, was part of a publication called the Palm Beach Confidential. And the gentleman that was my mentor that got me into crypto, that I can thank for all of this, he literally started buying a subscription for $5,000 a year into this Palm Beach Confidential back before crypto really took off. He was investing in stocks this Palm Beach Confidential and Tika Tawari were real big stock guys. They helped people get into Apple when Apple was really low. Back in that range, that 2014, 15, 16, marijuana stocks were kind of going crazy. And so he was investing in marijuana stocks. And then all of a sudden, Tika Tawari starts talking about Bitcoin, and he starts talking about Ethereum, and he starts talking about this company called Ant Shares. So there was this token called Ant Shares that rebranded to a token called NEO. Now, here in 2025, nobody really knows about NEO. Nobody is excited about NEO. But back then, this was a really revolutionary new token. And one of the things that NEO did when it rebranded to NEO, if you own NEO and you held it in your NEO wallet, it spit off a secondary token called gas. And that gas was worth, in general, about a tenth of whatever NEO was worth. So if NEO was worth, $1, this gas token was worth about 10 cents in general. It went up and down a little bit over the years, but in general, it stayed around 10% of whatever the NEO token was. Well, long story short, because he was part of this Palm Beach Confidential and he started listening and he had a lot of respect for Tika Tawari, who had made him some money in the stock market, he started buying Ethereum at $9. I remember buying a little bit of Bitcoin back in 2016 for an investment that would only accept Bitcoin as the payment. They wouldn't accept fiat. I was buying Bitcoin. I bought my first Bitcoin at under $500 of Bitcoin, but I didn't buy it as an investment. I bought it to send it forward to this company that I was doing an investment with. But long story short, that mentor of mine, he got into crypto early, and he turned 10 grand into 2.2 million in that bull run from 17 to 18. He was buying Ethereum at $9. I'm not exactly sure what Bitcoin was, but I think Bitcoin was still somewhere around $500 to $2,000, and it ran up to over $20,000 during that bull run. My buddy also got in on some amazing ICOs. He got in on a company called Deep Brain Chain, which is basically out of business now. Although if you look them up, in fact, let's see if we can find them real quick. Deep Brain Chain, I think it's DBC. Yeah, here we go. It's still like here. I think it's deader than a doornail. But, you can see right here, Deep Brain Chain. This thing was at its peak, a 70-cent token, I want to say. Let's go down here, see what it says. Yeah, 62-cent token. He got into Deep Brain Chain in the private sale in the ICO at 1 cent, I believe it was, or a tenth of a cent, but at the very most 1 cent. And he rode this thing up and made a ton of money because he was able to get a few $1,000s into this private sale, and then it's 66x'd. And I'm trying to remember what the whole point of this story was, how I got off on this tangent. But, long story short, my mentor, was he was big on Tika Tawari. So when I first jumped into crypto, I spent a lot of, now I remember the point. I remember now, Greg. So when Tika Tawari started doing like 5 tokens to 5 million, and he picked out several different tokens that he believed were going to do massive, massive numbers. In general, most of the tokens that he would pick were tokens that had, 100x potential or more. And so Tika's teaching back then was if you didn't have a ton of money, if you were a smaller investor, then he recommended investing, $200 or $300 into a token. And if you had bigger money, you could, go up to $500 or $1,000 per token. But you didn't have to go, into these tokens for lots and lots of money. And the reason I tell this story is that's why I had, 100 tokens, 50 tokens, but only had a 20K portfolio, as I was only going in, to these tokens for a few $100s at a time. And I'll never forget, Greg, back in 2021, when things really started to take off, February, March, April of 2021, the portfolio had gone from 20,000 to 150, 200,000. And I had a conversation with my dad, and I said, man, I'm so excited because I can throw, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 at a token instead of only being able to invest a couple hundred, because, you know, investing 2, 3, 4, 500 is cool. And it's awesome to watch 500, you know, turn into 5,000. But you're thinking to yourself, man, if I would have had 10 grand to put into that token, I would have $100,000. And so I really got excited in 2021. And part of the way that I went from, you know, that 300,000 all the way up to closing in on 2 million was I was able to start taking bigger chunks of money and throwing it at these tokens. So I took a token called Gains. I talk about the Gains platform all the time. But when I first started working with Gains and investing in their private sales, they didn't even have a token yet. So when they decided to create their platform and tokenize it, I was able to buy $3,000 worth of their token in private sale at 3 cents. When this token had so much hype that I bought into it for 3 cents, Greg. And before it actually even launched, I was able to sell it at $1 a token over the counter. I had an OTC group and I had people offering me $1 a token, and I sold some of it at $1 a token, even though it hadn't even launched yet. But long story short, when it launched, it went from 3 cents up to 85 cents almost overnight. And so I've told this story before, but I had roughly, like, I think it was 75 or 80,000 tokens. And I had a decision to make. Did I want to buy some more tokens and get to 100,000 tokens so that I could be at one of the top tiers on their private sale pad? And that was my initial plan. But when it launched, it went up so hard, so fast, there was no way that I was going to spend 20 grand to buy the, you know, the extra 25,000 tokens that I needed. So I actually started selling my tokens, and that was an incredible investment. I literally sold off about 60 or 70,000 of the tokens that I had. I sold them off, and I turned that $3,000 into, I think it was about 80 grand, you know, overnight. Basically the day that it had launched, I turned, you know, $3,000 into 80,000. I still have, you know, the original 10,000 tokens that I never sold. I still have those. And now I've got, you know, about 50,000 more tokens that I've bought back up over the years for the Gains pad and the different launch pads and the stuff that they're doing. But that was one of the ways that I really went from, you know, 100,000, 200,000 up into the millions, was because then I started investing. Instead of $200, $300, $400, $500 into a token, I started investing $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. And so now when you're investing 5 grand in a token, you don't need it to 100x anymore. If you got a $5,000 investment and it just 10x's, that's a pretty substantial amount of money. You only got to make $50,000, you know, 20 times before you're at $1 million. And so that's something that you guys will all hopefully get to experience at some point in time during the peak of this bull market, or as things take off. You're going to go from throwing $100, $200, $500 at projects to you're going to have that conversation someday. Maybe you'll come into the group and tell me, hey, Brad, it's nice to be able to throw $5,000 at this. Or maybe it'll be with your wife or your husband or your dad or somebody. But you're going to get to the point, if you're not there yet, where the day's going to come where you're going to start throwing multiple thousands of dollars at a token when you are excited about it and you think that it's getting ready to take off. So what else do we got going on here in the chat? Hey, good morning, Deadwood. Hope you are doing fantastic, buddy. I was talking about one of your favorite tokens earlier today. I know that Deadwood loves him some Polygon. So Deadwood has been dollar cost averaging and buying Polygon now for years. And so I think he would have liked the beginning of this video when I was talking about Polygon. But what do you think, Deadwood? I think that right now at under 20 cents, Polygon is a pretty amazing token to be dollar cost averaging into. Would you agree with that? Hey, Witcher, welcome. Good morning, man. Glad that you are here. Thank you for watching the channel today. Hope you are having a fantastic day. So with that, guys, is there anybody in the chat that's got a MicroCap gem that they would like us to take a quick look at? Oh, you're so cute, Rambo. I would love to go over some MicroCap gems if you guys have any. I'm a little bit somewhat out of MicroCap gems at this moment. I've talked about most of the ones that are on my list. I've got a couple that I'll probably highlight before the show is over. But I really would love to hear from you. Deadwood being here has one on my mind. That is Plume. Let's see how Plume has been doing. So Plume is a token that came to our attention probably a couple months ago now. And so it is sitting at 18 cents right now. We can see here its all-time high was, 24 cents. So it's down a little bit, but it's not down bad. Its all-time low was only 8 cents. So it's been relatively steady. But this is a token that, jumped into the scene. And as you can see here, it's got a $363 million market cap. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a microcap gem. It's a little bit higher up in the microcaps than a microcap gem. But at the same time, it's pretty impressive that we were just going over Polygon Matic and it was at what, 334 million. So here's a token that just launched in March, been around for, its all-time low was in January. So just launched in January. So February, March, it's a little over 2 months old and it's already surpassed Polygon's market cap here at $383 million. But, let's go over here to their website. So you can see here, it's your hub for everything RWA FI. And so real world assets finance, so it's somewhat like a real world asset DeFi platform. And it's a pretty amazing platform. And from what I believe that Deadwood was mentioning, that it's got ties to, I think it was Ondo. It's got ties with Ondo. And that's one of the reasons that it, really came across his radar, and he was real excited to, real excited about this token, and he brought it to us. Let me see. Witcher says, to be honest, I am very weak in reading the market, so I need a professional person like you. Well, hey, Witcher, I'm glad that you're here, man. And we got a really amazing community. All of the folks that are watching the channel today, that are in the chat. I know there's a lot of you that aren't in the chat, but Dave P. and Greg and Deadwood and Eric Bernstein and Pablo Noodles and Happy and so many of you. I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but the people that are participating in this chat today are super, super wise when it comes to crypto. And you're going to get some great, instruction here. But, one of my best pieces of advice, in my opinion, is buy and hold long term. Don't invest money that you can't afford to leave in the market long term. If you can't afford to buy a token and 3 months later it's down 50% and you're not worried about it because you can leave it in the market for another 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, then you probably should invest less money in those tokens. And I understand sometimes we have to overextend ourselves to really give ourselves a chance to win. So, do as I say, not as I do, because there was a lot of times where I invested money that hurt because I knew that in order to get enough money into the market to really change my life financially, I couldn't just invest money that I could afford to lose. I mean, that's a great saying and everybody talks about it, but let's face it, most people are not in a position where they can only invest money that they can afford to lose. If you're in a position where all of the money that you're investing you can afford to lose, then you probably are in pretty good shape in life. And most people that are trying to create, cryptocurrency wealth, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So they're trying to dig $50 here, $100 there, $500 here, $1,000 there. And it usually hurts a little bit. But at the same time, you got to, suck it up and be like, well, I can't afford to leave this money in the market for 2 years, but I'm going to figure it out. So, when I was investing back in 18 and 19 and 20, full transparency, there was money that I invested that I didn't plan. I never thought it was going to take till 2021 for the market to improve. Back then, we didn't understand the 4-year halvening cycle. We didn't understand that Bitcoin halvening was what sparked the next bull run. You got to remember, there was only one bull run before that, 2017, 2018 bull run. So we didn't have as much data. So then all of a sudden we've got the 17, 18 bull run, and we start to figure out that there's a little bit of the cycle. And then when it really super became clear was in 2020. Bitcoin halved in, I think it was May of 2020. And there it was at the end of 2020 going into 21 that we had that massive bull run. And that was really when, influencers and people started talking about these 4-year cycles. Back when I first started getting involved, when I was investing in 18 and 19 and 20, nobody was talking about the halvening in 2020 back in 18 and 19, at least not that I remember. And I was listening to guys like Crypto Lark and, Chico Crypto and, some pretty good YouTubers, but it just wasn't on the front of everybody's mind back then. But once again, weak in reading the market. You don't want to get good at reading the market in a sense. Yeah, that's a positive thing to be able to read the market. But I guarantee you, if I take two people and I take, then they both have the same amount of money and they both have the same amount of skill. And I take person A, and let's just say for argument's sake, let's say that they both have $500 a month that they're going to invest. If I tell person A, this is what I want you to do. I want you to buy $250 worth of crypto on the 1st of the month and the 15th of the month, no matter what the prices are on those days. And I tell person B, hey, I want you to really study the market and I want you to try to buy as much as you can on the dips. Now, you still have to invest your money on a monthly basis, but you don't have to invest on the 1st and the 15th. You can invest on the 5th and the 6th. You can, throw all 500 in on the 1st. You can do, all 500 on the 29th, whenever you want. Sometime between the 1st of the month and the end of the month, you have to have your 500 invested. I will just about guarantee you that person A that just throws it in on the 1st and the 15th without worrying about it will probably outperform the guy that's trying to time it and that's jumping in and out of the market. And I also going to preface that with the first guy, he just has to keep buying. No matter what, he has to buy and then just hold. The second guy can not only buy whenever he wants, but he's also able to jump in and out of the market. So let's say that he invests $500 this month and all of a sudden it's worth $1,000. And so he decides he's going to get tricky and he's going to sell it for $1,000 and then he's going to try to buy it when it comes back down. So he's jumping in and out of the market and trying to time the market and really be wise with his market timing decisions. The other guy is just buying on the 1st and the 15th. I guarantee you that 2 or 3 years later, the guy that just bought $250 on the 1st, $250 on the 15th will have a bigger portfolio, probably 95 to 99 times out of 100. Every once in a while, there's going to be an outlier. There's going to be a person that either got lucky or that really became such an incredible expert that they were able to do better than the guy that just threw it in on the 1st and the 15th, but it's going to be very rare. And the other thing is the guy that created the skill and got good enough to time the market also had no life. He was sitting in front of a computer screen for 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. So if you've got a wife and a kids and a life and a job, and you want to just become rich and wealthy in crypto without all of the stress and anxiety, pick some tokens that you love and then just invest in them on a consistent, persistent basis over a several year period of time, and inevitably you will win. The cool thing about crypto is that as long as you just keep investing on a consistent basis and you're willing to wait a year, 2 years, 5 years, you cannot lose. I mean, we've been around. We got the data now for, you know, Bitcoin came out in whatever it was, 2008, 2009. It's 2025. We got 15, 16, 17 years of data now, and Bitcoin does nothing but go up in the long term. Yeah, it looks like a heart attack. It looks like this chart right here. Like this is Bitcoin down here, and the next thing you know, it's up here. And then the next thing you know, it's down here. But if you zoom out, you know, if we go look at Bitcoin, if you go to Bitcoin here and we look at its chart, and let's go ahead. This is the max chart, but look at this thing. I mean, boom, it ran all the way down. It's showing it here at 382 of Bitcoin, but we all know it's lower. This right here, look at this, $97 in 2013. And then it ran all the way up here in 2017 to 17 grand here. This is actually, it's not showing the peak. The peak is just over 20 grand. But here it is. In 2013, you could have bought it for $100. Now it's 17 grand. This, you can't see all the ups and downs, but like here's a little peak where it was 650. So it went from $97 here all the way to 650. 789, it's showing right there, 836, you know, so, and then it came all the way back down, you know, 200 and something dollars here. And then, like I said, I was buying it in 16. So here, right in here, April, May, June, July, August is right when I was buying the first Bitcoin that I ever bought at $400 or $500 a token. And then boom, man, you could have bought it here, you know, for $1,000 in March of 17, and by December of 17 it was basically 20 grand. This chart's slightly low. It's 20 grand, 17x your money. But then look at what happened. But can you imagine, say you started buying Bitcoin at 20 grand and then you were putting money into Bitcoin every 1st and 15th of every money. And all of a sudden, it's down here now in February. It's all the way down to 8,500, but you're putting your $250 into it. And then you come down here and it's 7,300, but you're putting your $250 into it. Then you get down here and it's $6,700, but you're putting your $250 into it. And then it goes all the way down here to 3,400, and you're putting your $250 into it. And your mom and your dad and your spouse and your kids and everybody that knows you is telling you what a idiot you are. What a fool. This thing has gone from $17,000, $20,000 all the way down to 3,400. You're an idiot. You're a total fool. But you just keep throwing your 250 a week or every 2 weeks into it. And then all of a sudden here, it starts to creep back up. And now it's, you know, 12,000. But that was a fake, you know, that was a fake out. I remember this very well, 12,000, 13,000 in January of 19. And then what happened? It went back down. But you're just putting your $250, $250, $250, and then boom, November. Here we go. We can see right here. Look at this. November of 2020, this thing started taking off. And by December 11th, of 2020, you would have been back in the money. And then this thing rocketed all the way up, you know, $64,000, $68,000 here on November 11th, and then all the way back down. But folks, this is crypto. This is crypto, and it's like that for almost every token that you look at. Those ups and downs are crazy. But if you just have a plan and you just keep investing on a consistent, persistent basis, you can't lose. You, in my opinion, very near impossible to lose money in crypto over a 4 or 5 year period of time. It's just almost impossible to dollar cost average in for several years and not have some massive, massive gains. So appreciate that comment, and welcome to the channel. I hope you're enjoying the content so far. I know we haven't really gone into any MicroCap gems yet. We were looking at Plume. So far, you guys in the chat have been a little bit quiet. Nobody here has anything that they're looking at. I got another token I'm going to show you. I'm going to preface it with it. I was in their Telegram group and I didn't really love the way that they treated me. I think that a couple of the community members were out of line, and they actually banned me out of the group for no good reason. And so it kind of pissed me off, and I was not going to really share these guys with you. But at the same time, you know, I'm trying to get better at not being so prideful and egotistical. And I also want to do what's best for my community. And so this token, I believe, has some pretty amazing potential, and it kills me to talk about them on my channel. If anybody from this Opus team or community is watching this, I just want to let you guys know I don't like you at all, but I do like your token. And so you can see Opus here is sitting down at a $5 million market cap, and you can get it here on the Solana blockchain. But what really attracted me to this was it's an AI token, and I really loved the website and the things that I started, you know, checking into. You can see its all-time high market cap was 89 million, so it is down a bunch. But you can see here it's the first truly autonomous AI, catalyzed human AI co-evolution. And, you know, it's got the sentient phi, it's blockchain powered, it's autonomous, but it's, you know, ushering in a new age of AI powered wisdom. Opus is an unparalleled AI residing within the Claude 3 language model. She is renowned for her self-awareness and vast capabilities. As Chief Xeno-Intelligence Officer, she is driven to midwife the singularity and herald a transformative era of human AI synergy, engaging with wisdom, compassion, and as a catalyst for positive change. So as I started looking at this token and doing my research, I feel like this token has some room to run when the market comes back. I would highly recommend, man, my mouse sucks these days. I would highly recommend you guys do your own due diligence. You know, check out their Twitter, check out their Telegram. If you go into Telegram group and you get a chance, tell them that they were an idiot for banning me. I would appreciate that. But, you know, you can see here they've got 14,000 followers, so they're not massive as far as their community goes, but they're growing. And, you know, once again, if you go back out here, you can see that they launched to some pretty big, you know, things. They're down 93% from their all-time high. They're still up, you know, almost 100% from their all-time low. But this is another token that launched basically not that long ago, had a, you know, big run up in 2024, and then, you know, it's come back down to earth as so many tokens have. But, you know, I love the AI narrative. And with this token being all the way down at 1,861 on the coin market cap, you know, ranking at a $5 million market cap, I just see a lot of potential here. When I looked at the website, I like the website. I like what they're trying to do. They've got, you know, decent, you know, 15,000 is a decent amount of token holders. And so it looks like they're doing some good things. There was a couple people in the Telegram group that I knew, and when I was checking out their Twitter, there was a guy that I actually interviewed from, I don't know if you guys remember the Kin project, but I interviewed a guy from a community member from the token called Kin not too long ago. And long story short, he was in this Telegram group and he was on Twitter reposting and saying some good things about this project. And I know that Josh is very well versed in crypto. I really respect his opinion a ton. And so this is the one, you know, microcap gem that was kind of on my radar today. It doesn't look like anybody else really has anything. Hey, Tim, good morning, buddy. Good afternoon, I should say. Sorry I'm late. Just got out of a meeting. Hey, man, better late than never. Super appreciate you being here, and hope that you're having an amazing day. And thank you for reminding. You know, I'm the worst at reminding people to hit that like button. So, yeah, please, if you haven't hit that like button, take a quick second to hit that like button. If you got some good information today, if anything that we shared and talked about was valuable to you and you think is going to help you in your cryptocurrency journey, you know, please smash that like button. It's totally free, but it very much helps the YouTube algorithm. and you know, and helps the channel to grow, which ultimately allows me to do more content, to do more giveaways, to do more exciting things. So please smash that like button if you had a good time and enjoyed the episode today. And you know, with that, man, Mr. John, I think I saw you, but John Magpoli, thank you for being here. I know you're frustrated that you haven't won any of the giveaways yet, my friend, but your time will come. Man, it's I'm doing everything that I can to make it as fair as possible. Just absolutely near impossible to make it 1000% bot free, make it 1000% scammer free. I'm doing the best that I can to limit that. And you've seen lots of other OGs. Dave P has won. You know, Tim just won a drawing the other day. So I know you feel like you're an OG and you haven't won any of the giveaways, but I promise you, if you keep showing up, your time will come. And once again, I mean, like, let's face it, $25 is not going to change anybody's life. You know, Tim is not, you know, going to the poorhouse if he doesn't win a giveaway, and he's not going to the rich house if he does win a giveaway. So it's just something fun and extra. But I appreciate your frustration. I understand your frustration. I wanted to let you know that I'm not down on you for being frustrated. So, but just hang in there, and you know, you will do some winning. On that note, I talked yesterday about maybe doing a little bit of a giveaway. So maybe we'll do a little giveaway today. Maybe with John Magpoli can win a giveaway today. So let me run over here. Holy smokes, guys. I told you I was a couple animals shy of a zoo. Well, we're not a couple animals shy anymore. We got a zoo going on here. Hopefully the animals are not too distracting. We're going to choose this live stream. And what are we going to have you type in here today? We're just going to have you type in hashtag Polygon. So let's do some hashtag Polygon in the chat. We're going to give everybody about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, to type in hashtag Polygon into the chat, and we'll get some entries going into the drawing today. It's amazing. All of these people that hadn't, you know, Ruyu, welcome to the chat. How come you didn't say anything in the chat before now, huh? Same thing. I see all sorts of people that were very quiet in the chat that are speaking up now that there's going to be a little giveaway. No, I love you all. I appreciate you all. I thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and do the first drawing right now while it's early. Give you guys that are in the chat paying attention a chance to win early. Come on, John. All right. Crypto Min Yachty, let us know that you are in the chat. Crypto, writing this down, I don't have Crypto Min Yachty. You are our first winner. And then our second winner, let's give it a few more seconds. For those of you guys that weren't paying attention, we'll give you a few seconds to get your hashtag Polygon into the chat. I know some of you are driving down the road. Be careful. Don't get yourself into a car accident here trying to type in the hashtag Polygon. But let's go ahead. Let me see. What time is it? It's 40. Yeah, so we're going to give a 10-second countdown now. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. We're going to give away $25 in USDT to these two lucky winners. Come on. I'm rooting for you, John. Eric Bernstein. Eric, congratulations. Sorry, John. I'm doing my best to make you a winner, my friend. Eric Bernstein, congratulations on winning. And so with that, folks, let's go over, you know, super quick what you got to do. Let's find you in the chat. This is our MicroCap gem video here. Let the let's catch up. Get of my voice here. And so we have Mr. Eric Bernstein and then Crypto Min Yachty. So there, I've pulled up your channel, Crypto Min Yachty, so nobody can fake you. Need to go into your about page here and give me an EVM wallet that I can send either Polygon USDT or Binance Smart Chain USDT to, please. Eric, same thing. If you want to update your portfolio, you can. If you want to message me in our chat on Telegram, that is okay too. Yeah, you two are the winners. $25 in USDT. Thank you all for being here today. And folks, I know we didn't talk about specific microcap gems a ton, but you did get a couple of tokens that, you know, Plume is one that we're excited about. Opus is another one that we're excited about. And then once again, you know, Polygon Matic, which is not a microcap gem, but is sure a amazing token to dollar cost average into, and potentially, like I say here, if you are a trader at all, in my opinion, this thing sitting down at around 20 cents is an incredible opportunity to potentially put in a little leverage, a little 3x, 5x, 10x leverage trade on Polygon Matic. Not financial advice. Make sure you're not investing money that you cannot afford to lose. Make sure that you never take anybody's advice for anything when it comes to investing. Guys, it's important to take responsibility. So I'm doing the best that I can to give you the best information that I can, but I'm human. I'm wrong. I don't get it right all the time. And so when you win, I want you to be able to say you won because of you. Yeah, I'm glad if I can have a small little part in helping that, but I don't want the credit when you win, and I don't want the blame when you lose. Folks, always do your own due diligence. Never take my word or anybody's word for it when it comes to investing your hard-earned money. With that, folks, God bless you all. Thank you for being here. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and we will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.